Hello, and welcome to today's issue of Chapter by Chapter of Eye of the World. I am your host, Will Cowan, and with me, like always, Mr. Steve Haynes.
Hello.
I forgot how to introduce you there. I start out episodes very much the same way all the time, and even if you rehearse the beginnings of your episodes 100,000 times,
They're never
You're
going to
gonna
be. You're
you're gonna fuck up. You're gonna fuck up nonstop. Doesn't matter. You're talking into a microphone. It's already a natural sort of kind of like speaking. You gotta watch what you're saying and like.
That's why here's a pro tip: you get rid of that microphone, replace it with a banana, and then all the
Oh,
stress and anxiety's gone.
oh.
Your sound quality's gone too, but hey,
You don't have a show then.
you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
But what you can have is today's episode, Chapter 17 of The Eye of the World.
Watchers and hunters. So if you were paying attention to the episode that we did yesterday, we just wrapped up the fact that Nynaeve she has joined our RPG party. She is now in there. What would you say? Is she kind of like a wizard type, like a little bit of a mage type or something like that?
I'd throw her in mage at this point.
Yeah. Are they
Cleric?
magical or are they like more just kind of
Unclear
or-
at this point.
I kind of imagine them more as like herbalists. You know, they're not really magical, but they can work with science in a magical way. They know how to work different substances together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, an alchemist of sorts.
Yeah, like an alchemist. She has joined our RPG team, and it looks like she's going to be along for the foreseeable future because right now everybody's dancing.
It's a dance party.
Dance party, baby. Every good book, every good movie, every good video game needs a dance number, and we got it.
Yes.
And
Every fantasy one. Well, no, I agree with you. Everyone.
every single one. Star Wars had one. You know, we there's a musical number in all of it. And Tom, he busts out that lute.
And it's not like this is the first time this has happened. I mean, this is multiple times now. So much so that he plays, one of the songs he plays is one of the songs he played earlier in the book.
Yeah,
The Great Hunt of the Horn. But the beauty about playing the Great Hunt of the Horn is you can just tell different stories about hunters.
Yeah.
It's no set lyric in that one. You can just swap it out.
I have completely missed this part. Is this real? Like, is it like you can just replace hunters in this story or in this song?
Yeah, they mentioned that.
In this chapter?
In this chapter, yeah.
I
That he's playing the Great Hunt of the Horn again, and but it's different this time because he swapped out some of the tails.
So it's a little bit more. I'm trying to make a joke about modern music because you made a Black Hole Sun reference a couple episodes ago, and I just haven't been able to think of a better joke.
You can't top it.
You can't top it. That was amazing. Anyways, he's playing the hits, and everybody's dancing. And the thing that makes this chapter different is that they actually get into the dancing. People are
They definitely, yeah. I mean, this chapter is like all dancing.
At least the first half is all dancing.
First half is all dancing, yeah.
And Rand just kind of like stumbling all over himself because he doesn't know how to dance with girls.
Yeah, and each partner that he gets, he has different reactions to.
Yeah. Like Nynaeve kind of like helps him along. I don't think she like makes him feel bad or anything like that. She just kind of like, she more is guiding.
So they're doing one of these like medieval dances you see in movies where they're all the girls are all coming to the guys, you know? The girls all come, they switch dance partners, and the girls all switch to the guys and they do a little do-si-do, and then they switch off again.
You know that dance in A Knight's Tale?
Oh yeah.
It's that.
Everyone knows exactly what you're talking about. It's that. And so that's how he ends up dancing with Nynaeve. She just sort of gets thrust in there.
Yeah.
And he's definitely caught off guard with her.
Well, because she's pissed off.
Yeah, and he didn't even know that she danced, though.
Yeah, because like she didn't do this back in
because
Emmons
dancing is, in this scenario, dancing is also like partying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you're doing the dance, like you're down to party.
Yeah. Yeah. And like when you're the wisdom of your town, like you can't really party. There's like you have a you have an air of responsibility around you, so you can't dance. But out
Yeah, and I
here,
think they mentioned that she would have danced in Emmons Field.
yeah, exactly. But out here, all bets are off, baby.
Oh, she's twerking.
She took she took her shoes off.
Yep.
She's jigging.
Oh
She's
yeah.
jiving. She's
Mm-hmm.
drinking. She's
Yep.
getting some bread and cheese in her.
Big time.
Things are going off the rails.
Oh yeah.
And
And
same
then
with Moraine and Egwene. Like Rand actually like he hops from Moraine to Egwene to Nynaeve. I can't remember like Moraine. I think kind of like more or less kind of controlled that dance. I can't remember exactly. You probably remember better than I do.
I think so.
And then
I think it went Nynaeve, Egwene, Moraine that he danced with.
right, yeah. And
Egwene was the one that like he with Nynaeve he felt weird about it. Then Egwene came in and he felt a little bit more calm because he's known and danced with Egwene his whole life.
right, because they both grew up together.
Yeah, but still felt a little weird about it because he's a shitty dancer. And then Moraine. Yeah,
I think so. We're gonna stick to that.
sounds good.
And they just like it just parties. But during that time while they're partying, Rand looks off into the corner and he sees a kind of a hooded, scary looking character.
Spooky face in the corner.
Spooky face in the corner.
Can't be
like
ignored.
He's got like a scar on his face or something. Like he's
got a scar going from like his right eye diagonally like across his face down to his mouth on the left side.
If you ever see somebody like that in a bar looking at you, you're gonna die.
Well, maybe you should talk to him.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe he's got.
Favors the bold, and it's always good for a good story if you don't die. And if you die, I mean, you're dead. So
yeah,
it's not your problem.
So he kind of sees this person. He sees this person kind of like every once in a while, but he doesn't really register it in a way that like seems like a warning. But as the partying's kind of wrapping up, Tom is on "Don't Stop Believing," so you know that the set's about to wrap up pretty soon. As people are turning into bed, he overhears Matt and Lan talking, and they are both talking about the guy with the scar on his face,
Scarface,
and he was like, "Okay, so it's not just me," and he's also thinking like, "I should probably go to bed too," but before I go to bed, I'm gonna go into the kitchen. I'm gonna get some milk. Does he eat some bread and cheese?
I think he does.
He must eat a little bit of bread and cheese. Before we started this podcast, I mentioned to you that I had a bread and cheese dream. Do you remember in a couple episodes ago when we were talking about like the bread and cheese dreams?
Yes.
I had a bread and cheese dream.
Well, enlighten us all.
Tell us the tale. I couldn't sleep one night. Like this is like last week or 2 weeks ago.
I feel like we should put a soft lute under this tale.
You know that lute that's in I'm thinking of a flute. There's a flute.
You're ruining it. Just tell the tale.
A couple weeks ago I couldn't sleep. So I went to the kitchen and I was like, well, if it's good enough for Rand and those characters to eat some bread and cheese, it's good enough for me. I pulled out some bread.
Fair logic.
I sliced some slices of cheese, put the cheese in between the slices of bread, and just ate bread and cheese sandwich. I went to bed that night and like I had night sweats, and I don't remember the dreams per se, but it was one of those ones like, oh, I remember the dream.
Yeah, full of horror, yeast, and cheddar.
Oh my God. I was on a farm somewhere. I was seeing like ghosts in the background. Didn't help the fact that I watch a fuck ton of like ghost documentaries because I can't help myself. But since then, no more cheese and bread before bed. Can't do that. So of course,
you think you're better than Ran and Lan.
I know that the bread and cheese dreams aren't going to bring me any sort of like.
You don't know that. You might find out that you weren't even born in Canada.
Oh God! Oh no! What does this sword mean? Anyways, back to it. He grabs his sword, or grabs his milk, I should say, from the kitchen. And he starts drinking it and about to go to bed when he stopped right at right on the stairway by a fucking Myrddraal.
Yes.
Now, is it just me? Like, is the Scarface guy also the Myrddraal, or is the Scarface guy somebody else, and he might come back later in the
I
story?
took it as he's the Scarface guy, but right before this, Lan goes to the innkeep. And he tells him that there's a Scarface guy there, and he tells him, and then the innkeep tells him that he's a White Cloak.
Oh yeah. He's
Right?
like,
He's like, don't worry, he's a White Cloak.
yeah. If there's anything to worry about, like, it's that he's a White Cloak, but don't worry about it because, like, this is my end. We're all having a good time. There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah. So I took that as a misdirect, and then that he was the Myrddraal, but maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, he could play back later because the Myrddraal looks different. Like, Myrddraals don't have eyes; they're pale. I don't know if it's part of their powers that they can shapeshift like that, or maybe they can. Maybe they've got like a little like half mask that they put on that is their eyes.
Or maybe he's just a White Cloak.
Maybe he's just a white cloak.
The Scarface, yeah.
Anyways, Rand gets stopped on the stairway by this Myrddraal, and the Myrddraal is about to kill him, but then he stops himself and he's like, "You belong to the Dark Lord," or I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's like,
He's basically like, you have darkness in your blood.
yeah. And if you have any doubts that this guy is a main character now,
He tells him that he belongs to the Great Lord of the Dark.
yeah.
That's what he says.
So he doesn't kill him, but
and
he's
then he
like,
sort of disappears down the hall into the shadows.
well, he asks like, "Where are your friends? Where are your friends?" And I'll spare you. Tell me where your friends are. I think it's kind of like a way to tempt Rand into doing something evil, to like steer him closer to that path, like to sell your friends out like that. Or maybe like it's not really like that at all, and he was just like, "Tell me where your friends are. I'll kill them. Come back for you. We'll get out of here." Or maybe he will take all.
I think it's like a Emperor Palpatine given to your evil, given to your hate.
Right. And then Lan shoots out of nowhere, and then the
out of nowhere, it just comes like ninja jumping down the stairs with his sword. Yeah, his Myrddraal radar went off. His radar.
Oh yeah.
Went buzzing, and he came right running it, and that's when the Myrddraal did his spooky disappearing act.
Just
into the shadows.
And he disappeared, and it's right then Lan's like, "Time to go."
Now here's a question. Big glass of milk before this scene. Is this a milk dream?
Ooh.
I mean, the fact that Lan came out so quickly makes me think it's not, but it's suspect.
Hey, look, like you get some crazy dreams if you have too much dairy in you. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
So Myrddraal disappears, and Lan's like, "We gotta go." He goes, basically rounds up everybody, and we're like, "We gotta get the hell out of here." They know we're here. We gotta go. And Moraine tells the innkeep, Master Fitch, that like, don't be a hero. Tell them where we went. Tell them that we left in the night. Tell like you are not worth.
Yeah, tell them that there's a Drakkar flying around.
Yeah. Just tell, like, save your ass in this situation. And they all pack up their shit and they get the hell out of there. Once they hit the road, they reach the gate and they're about to leave through the gate when a couple of guards stop them, and they're like, "We're under strict orders that we can't open this gate for anybody coming in." And she's like, Moraine's like, "Well, that's for people coming in, but we're leaving, so there shouldn't be a problem." And just in that moment, just when things couldn't get any worse for our heroes, the Children of the Light, the group that Matt and Rand kind of had a run-in with a couple chapters ago, they show up around the corner and they're like, "What is this? What are you guys doing here?" And they're obviously already suspicious of Matt and Rand. And now that they see Moraine,
Yeah.
They're
Now
like,
shit's on.
shit's on. And they're
Is
like,
this the Bornhold guy?
yeah. Dion or
Bornhold. I wrote down the name Bornhold.
I think his name is Dane Bornhold. Yeah, that's the guy. He's the leader of the Children of Light. And he's like, you guys aren't going anywhere. You're coming with me. You guys are coming to this camp that we have north of here.
Well, he thinks that they're dark friends.
Well, that's the Children of Light's thing. Like, they think everybody's dark friends. Anybody like involved with magic.
Yeah. They're dark friends and they're up no good.
They're up no good. And Moraine's like, I'm not going with you. We're not going anywhere with you. And he draws his sword, and Moraine does this. She pulls her staff out, and they clash together, and flames or like sparks shoot out of the ends of the staff.
The staff. Yeah, the staff that they say should not be able to block a sword.
Oh, it blocks a sword. It knocks him back. Like he hits, and then he like flies backwards.
Yeah. And
they're like, get her! We're gonna kill her.
Yeah.
And then just in that moment where like there's a bunch of confusion going on, and Lan's like, let's go. Just in that moment, Moraine grows.
Gigantamaxes like a Pokemon.
Oh my god. She's like 20 feet tall. They don't give like a unit of measurement, but she's like as tall as the gate or the buildings around it.
But they do mention like the other half of the party is ahead of her. And
yeah,
she's still behind, and they see her head poke over the top of the wall.
I think she steps over the wall. That's yeah.
At first they see her head poke, and then they see the rest of her growing, and then she just steps over it, and then in a blink of an eye she's back to normal size again.
Yeah.
And they're all like, whoa, you were just giant. And she's like, Was I
really?
And they're like, yeah. And she's like, was I though? And they're like, yeah, totally, for sure. And then she's like, the eyes can play tricks on you with the moon and the light. And, you ever seen the front cover of Dark Side of the Moon? There's a beam of light going through there and it's shooting out different directions. Eyes play tricks.
You don't know what you saw. And everybody's like, that's the type of person that you hate. Yeah,
you're like, fuck off. I saw it. Let's just move. All right, guys. Moraine wasn't huge.
Yeah. Anyways, and they're back on the Camelin Road, and as they're walking away, they see fire and flames in the background in the city, and they're like,
from where they just came,
from where they just came. And it's like from what they can see, it's in the location of where the Stag and Lion is. And
Moraine is like, oh yeah, that's the end.
That's the end. They're burning it. We gotta keep moving. And
everyone's pissed. Nynaeve is pissed.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you mean? Like, you don't sound like you give a shit. She's like, I don't know. I don't.
Well, they're like, should we go save them? And she's like, that could be what they want us to do, is to go back there, and they're waiting for us.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'll like send them some money and they can fix it up. And then that's good enough. And they continue down the road until they make camp.
And that's it. That's the end of this chapter. Chapter. This is the end of this chapter.
Yeah, pretty much. There's some talk at the end that like they like Matt Matt, Rand, and Perrin are talking about getting in the chapter. Just kind of like talking about like they're all tired, and they're all like they're tired of being hunted, and they talk about how they will be safe in Tar Valon.
How long do you think they were on this journey now? It's got to be like a month. They've got to be on the road for a month.
I would say weeks, but sometimes it's hard to gauge the time.
Yeah. But, well, I mean, it's like fantasy storytelling. Like, like they'll just like skip amount of time. This book has been very good at like keeping events kind of happening right next to each other. Biff, bang, boom. But there are a couple of chapters like early on, and I think in the next chapter that's coming up, where like a little bit of time is skipped over.
Is it? Because I'm pretty sure they're still on the Camerlin Road on the next one, because the chapter's called Camerlin Road.
But it's a big road.
It's a real big road.
It's a big road, man. But we'll get into the next episode tomorrow, called the Camelin Road, chapter 18. Thank you all for listening. and we'll see you all tomorrow.